go ahead and get started. We'll call this language, history, and culture meeting to order. If I can get everyone to take their seats, please. Ask Councilor Connor if she would give the invitation.
Let us bow. Dear Heavenly Father, we just thank you for another glorious day that you've given us. We ask that you be with us throughout our meetings today. Help us do the work for the people, Lord, that we've been put here to do. We ask that you be with those who aren't with us today. Please see that those needs are met, whether they're illness, whether they've lost loved ones, whether they're just not able to be here. We ask that you bring their spirit to us. Thank you for the many, many blessings that you give us. And please forgive us for our shortcomings. And all these things we ask in your precious name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Audrey. Let's get a roll call.
Johnny Keener.
Honey.
Phyllis Shargy.
Honey.
Bill England.
Here.
Bill John Baker.
Here.
Jack Baker.
Here.
Audrey Connor.
Honey.
Joe Crittenden.
Here.
Meredith Fraley. Don Garvin.
Honey.
Bill Johnson. Taylor King.
Honey.
Jackie Bob Martin. David Thornton. Carrie Town Watts.
Thank you. Entertain a motion for the minutes of January 23rd.
So moved.
Second.
We have the motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Minutes stand approved. First on the agenda is reports and cemetery restoration assistance report. I believe Donna is going to give that for us.
Morning, everyone.
Good morning.
I apologize for not getting this to you sooner, but my mother's had some health issues and I've been out and I came back. I was going to do it yesterday, but she's still there at the hospital. So I've gotten just a few of them that for the 06 that's been turning their stuff in. I've changed the dates on it, show that, for today's date that you want to have it, that I haven't received anything from 05. And I think there was one from Chook Lake Cemetery. I have some receipts or something that was in the mail this morning when I went down and picked up mail that's not on this report. And there's some that's due, and I'm going to get a letter out to them today that I haven't sent, that are their 120 days have expired, so I want to get a letter out today to them. I'm also going to call them too and let them know that I'll be sending a letter out to them, and that's on the 05, 06 incomplete projects.
Thank you, Donna. If you need any help, you can forward numbers and names to us if you would like to do that. We could follow up as well. Anyone have any questions of Donna in this report? Thank you. I guess no questions. Thank you. Next on the agenda is the director's report.
OCO. Valentine's week. It's good to see you all here. And I want to thank you for your support in passing that resolution last night. I know we got it to you very quickly, but the formal announcement still has not come out, and we're waiting for it. They said it'd be out this week or next week, but they're still holding to the due date of March 12th. So we would not have any time to get that through had we waited for it. So I appreciate your support in that. We're just going on with the activities. We do have the list of community classes that I told you we were formalizing with the sites, name of instructors, and the dates that they're beginning. So We try to cover all of the 9 districts for you, so, and we'll be getting flyers out in the community. And we have some press releases that should be going out soon too. I know that they're in communication, so we'll get them there. And then we're getting ready, so those will get started. And then we're just ongoing. We're having our online classes again. There's close to 1,000 enrolled again. I don't know if it's the same 1,000 that enroll every 10 weeks or not, but it's close to that. I mean, it's right at that. Do you have a number? This young gentleman being assistant us over there too. He does a lot of things. So
I don't have an exact number, but I know it was 100 or 200 over what we had last session. So.
oh well, if that's so, then if it's 200, that's 1,100 then, because we had 987 last time. And so if it's 200 more, or at that, it's like 1,100. So we're picking up those two. And so the report I had, of course, was low quality. But anyway, so that's about all that we're doing. We're continuing our classes with the employees and with the quilting classes in the different communities. We have about 9 communities that are in quilting revitalization classes. And so we're going forward from there.
Oh, sorry, Mr. Baker.
On the online, back up a little bit, on the online language
Yes.
classes, they start at 8 o'clock in the morning?
Well, the live broadcasts start at 9 o'clock, and they go through, the last class is scheduled from 8 to 9 tonight.
Because when we were in California, Taylor and I were talking with some of the people there taking them, and they're a little upset because they were starting, like, when they started at 8 o'clock, they had to be up at 6 o'clock to start taking the courses there.
But they
And even at 9
run
or
all the
7.
way, they run all the way till 9 o'clock at night. It depends
So
on
they're-
Cherokee 1 and Cherokee 2, yeah.
They're
And
reruns,
they
so-
can do them Tuesday,
Okay.
Tuesday, Thursday, or Monday, Wednesday, you know. So the live broadcast. Now, those are the only sessions that we monitor the attendance in are the live ones.
Right, and that's the ones that we're concerned about.
Right, because we don't monitor it. The classes are available 24 hours a day, so we don't know who all looks at those and takes their classes through pre-recorded. But we try to keep them available because we have soldiers in Iraq who like to, you know, go online and be connected to the Cherokee Nation and then connected with their language and things. And so we have it available 24 hours a day. But live, it's only, I think on Monday, Wednesday, it's 11 hours of classes, and Tuesday, Thursday, it's 9 hours of classes. So, and when you think of one individual serving that many people, you know,
Thank you.
technology is wonderful.
Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Dr. Slide, those online classes, and I'm sure thankful that we got them, because I know that's, of all the questions we get from at-large, that's probably one of the biggest ones. And I know folks are trying to follow that online, but I keep hearing, you know, this is great and we're glad we got it, but you know, it's so hard to learn, and I know that because I've been studying all my life. And you know, what they asked was, is there, you know, when are we going to get a real teacher out here? And
Out there?
California,
Out in California?
or I mean,
Well, can they send someone to go to school?
well, I mean, that's what we're trying to figure out.
Right. Mhm.
But I mean, I guess that's what we can tell them is, you know, we've got a program. It's right now it's just at Northeastern, right?
Right now, that's the only place that has it. It's not, well, universities have to approve courses and programs of study individually. And so, you know, Northeastern, we presented it to them. They accepted it because it has to go through your department, then it goes to the division, and then it goes to the faculty and all that, and then it goes, and after everyone approves it, then the president will sign off on it, take it to the regions, state regions for higher ed, and then they'll approve it, and then it's accepted. So that was totally, I think that we finished that process from the time we first did it, probably 8 months. then that was really quick. Normally, you have to take about 5 years to get through that process, but we did it in about 8 months, and we were very, very fortunate. And then at the state level, we've been working with them, not so much the State Department, but when to ask them about not quite a year and a half ago to see if we could have Cherokee as a teacher certification area. And they approved it, so now we've been working with the Oklahoma Commission on Teacher Prep to develop the test, because they have a testing company they hired to develop it, but of course they don't have the language, so we have to develop it and give it to them. So,
How many language teachers do we employ to serve the 9 districts right now?
the 9 districts, it depends on the community people's schedules. Now remember, these are not formally trained individuals. The only ones that are going to be formally trained in teaching will be those coming out of university, even though we provide lots of training for my staff, the Emergent staff now. Matter of fact, that's where we are today, is in training. But they will be the ones, and they've got, I believe, did they say 29 with 8 more waiting to declare majors in Cherokee. So.
And once those people graduate, I mean, they're not all going to get hired by Cherokee Nation to go teach the language, right? They're going to try to find jobs.
We'd like to hire them all. We're supporting a lot of them going through school. And, you know, our long-range plan is to have a K-6, or our 10-year plan is to have a K-6 immersion school. And so we need to, I would like to see that extended to K-12, but right now our long-range plan is to have instructors and teachers for each of those classrooms. We would like to begin hiring, but I know that there's one individual who is probably, won't graduate this spring, but maybe by December, who's had 8 offers. None of them from us, but from different schools. So
Well,
they're going to be in demand.
I'm sure, and I'm hoping that some way we can collaborate and figure out how to get some of these, you know, a traveling teacher or some way. I mean, that's what I've heard more than anything else is, you know, those Cherokees who don't live around here, you know, they want to study, they want to be a part of the culture, and I think it's admirable, and I want to support them. So I don't know if it's a change in next year's budget or something, that we put some dollars in there, they can get out and, you know, anything, just to start. But if they could have a real live person out there who could help them learn, I'm sure that they would love it. So.
Yeah, because before, due to budget constraints, we've always limited our services to the 14-county area. And if, you know, people requested outside of that, we ask that they support the activity through expenses or something like that. Not necessarily, you know, an honorarium or a fee or anything, but to supply, you know, these expenses, travel, hotel to that individual, and then that's all we've asked for out of the Cultural Resource Center.
But times have never been better than now. I'd sure like to see
Okay.
next year that we ask for some more. You know.
I will take that forward to Dr. Morton then, and we'll discuss that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know if Dr. Morton wanted to comment.
I might just offer a comment. You know, I agree that if we continue our efforts to teach the Cherokee language beyond the 14-county area, that we're going to have real live persons. Now, how we develop that could be through several different means. We could follow the same model that we use for the history course. In other words, to have someone on, let's say, a 1-week basis with a group to help get them perhaps jump-started a little bit, remove some of the fear of the language. And in that instance, we probably do not need to worry about training, certification. We just need someone who can speak Cherokee. The same is true in the 14-county area. See, our immersion class here is not going to ever be more than a drop in the bucket as far as trying to revitalize the language. I visited with a group last week in the Greasy community, a group of middle-aged to elders who speak Cherokee fluently and are very much interested in trying to get some type of immersion in their community, even if it's just a home immersion, even if we work with them on a cooperative basis where they agree that, you know, mom and daddy or grandpa and grandma, they know Cherokee, so we'll start immersion in our home. And we will be ready to do that with short training courses. And then also, this happens so just at the right time. I'll be coming to you with a proposal that to establish community-based immersion programs that will differ from our immersion program here, in that we will be concentrating on utilizing those members in the community who are fluent, and even creating little cottage industries where we supplement the minimum Social Security benefits that some of those elders are receiving, and let them come to the community buildings, let's say 2 evenings a week, to work with people who are from all stages of, I did at one time speak it, but I haven't used it in a long time, so therefore I'm hesitant to speak it now. To those, many of them in our communities such as Kenwood, Greasy, Bell, and so forth, many of the teenagers and young adults understand the language, but they do not speak the language. So if we can jumpstart that with some persons that are not college trained, in fact, in those settings, our results may in fact be better with the elders teaching the class than some young whippersnapper that's had 24 hours at Northeastern. So I'm coming at you with that, and I'll include with that provision for a cadre of people that we may be able to recruit who would be willing to go, to California, Texas, wherever. Because the language is larger than 14 counties.
Thank you.
Mrs. Watts?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just can't be supportive of sending resources outside the 14 counties until I start seeing more language courses in my own district, because we're not on the list. I don't think Fuels District's on the list either. And so until we make sure that the 14 counties where the culture and the language is supposed to exist, I don't see taking it outside. So until that's done, I can't be supportive of that. Thank you.
I'll recognize you, but I would like to make a comment before we move. Taylor, you'll allow me. And sort of along the same lines as what Mrs. Watts has said, we have schools in this 14 county that are wanting teachers as well. And at the age of when people are still in public school, at that age is the best time to catch students trying to learn language, and it also helps them in their achievement. And younger, if we can work with community programs. But not only are we limited in resources as far as money is concerned, to me, that's not the object, because we can always find money to do things that we really want to do. But the people, the speakers themselves, and I don't want this to be taken as an insult, but sometimes the speakers cannot always be the teachers unless you live with the speaker 24 hours a day. Then you won't learn the language, and I'm a prime example of that, because my job at public school is to work with the language and the history, and I study the language every day, and I'm beginning to be able to understand pretty good what people say now. But this is after I have studied the language daily for almost 4 years. Before that, it was just kind of a hit and miss, and I think that people coming in this into community classes really expect that once they get finished with this 10-week course, they're going to be fluent in Cherokee, or they're going to know all that they can know about Cherokee, and that is absolutely not true. It's just like a child. If you only worked with a child that had no English skills, no language skills at all, and you work with them for 10 weeks, they're not going to be able to talk in 10 weeks or 2 hours a day. They're not going to, that's only 20 hours. So if you only worked with a child for 20 hours, tried to teach them to speak a language, they would not be able to speak it. That's not realistic. And you're not going to learn all that you need to know in that length of time. But I think that it's a good thing that we are promoting the language and as far-reaching as we can. The language doesn't just belong to the Cherokee Nation. It belongs to the Eastern Band of Cherokee. We're all Cherokee spread across the United States, and it belongs to all of us. It doesn't belong to just one person. And I think that it would be a sin if we were to keep the language confined within the 14-county area. I think that that's the way that we can promote our history and our culture and our language, and that's what we took the oath to do. And I'm sorry if I got carried away, but Taylor, you're next.
You more than said what I wanted to say. Thank you.
Mr. King.
Of course, I agree here, that, wherever Cherokee is. Now, sometimes I sound like that I condone teaching of the Cherokee language. But now, I do see that these young children in school, the little ones in grade schools and stuff, where they're kind of teaching, like all day, and I've seen some progress a lot from the little children and stuff. But in other words, they're probably there within about 8 hours, 5 or 6 hours at a time. But this 1 hour and 2 hours a night, every, twice a week and stuff, it's just not gonna get it. And I have taught Cherokee all my life. I'll understand every bit of it, but some words I cannot pronounce, but I know what they mean. All except whenever, like, if you start naming lizards and stuff like that, no, I'll never get it. But I know a lizard is just a lizard to me. You don't have to have a specific name, just a lizard. But anyway, let me put it this way. They can ridicule me if you want to. Cherokee language, and all during my lifetime and stuff, it's a Joshian language. It's strictly for the Cherokee people. They josh one another with it, have a lot of fun with it, kid one another with it, joke one another with it, call names one another with it, but it remains with the Cherokee people, And now, let me go a little bit further here. Now, this is the one when it gets me into it. I have never used Cherokee language to better myself. I might have improved myself in some areas. I've been a Cherokee or an Indian, but I have never found an application written in Cherokee for job promotion or a job. I've never gone to the bank to do business with the Cherokee written, application. I really have never used, as a full-blooded Cherokee, speak the language. I have never used it for my own for a promotion. Other than when I was a kid, little boy at home, we talked it. Then again, whenever I went to school, yes, I was more or less forbidden to talk Cherokee, but we throwed it out there anyway because we didn't know any better, Of course, sometimes we might get thumped on the head, but that's all right. And but anyway, here's the way I was told. The beginning, son, You live in a white man's world, and you better learn the white man's language as quick as you can, or else you'll be just like the rest of us down here on the creeks, sliding on CDU bridges. That's the way they gave it to me, and that's the way they left me. So I had to take it and work it out myself from there on. Yes.
Mr. Britton.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Dr. Sly, I know that the tribe is supports emergent classes, and language, and history and culture, and rightfully so. Have we done any kind of a survey amongst our people who are just folks out there in our real world that are speakers? I mean, we've given a lot of things that should be done and taken care of at home, like in our school systems, like manners and discipline and a lot of other things. We've kind of left that up to the schools, the teachers, and the parents are busy and they're doing their thing, and they're sort of, in a sense, neglecting the young people. But with language, when a child is small, if they have bilingual parents, fluent Cherokee-speaking parents or grandparents in the home, when that brain is young, like a sponge, I mean, those kids can learn that Cherokee. I mean, they can do it. I mean, what little words I can say in Cherokee, I've taught my kids. Now, I mean, what you said is, I'm not real sure, but I'd like to think if I had been able to speak Cherokee, that I'd like to think both of my daughters would be able to speak today. But have we done a survey of the families out there that's got little kids in the home? I'd like to think that one setting like that, if it was applied properly and encouraged and taught in the home, would be so much more successful than, as Dr. Morton said something about a young person with 24 hours from Northeastern spending time with a bunch of older folks that learns how to count to 10 and say rabbit and squirrel or something. I mean, have we done that? Has the tribe done that?
The last survey that we did was in 2002. It's been 5 years ago. We developed a 10-year plan from it. And what we found in that survey is that those people who can converse in Cherokee, the minimum age 5 years ago was 45. So that group is now 50. And so that means they're beyond childbearing years. And therefore, the language is not spoken in the home as it was when we were young. And those children don't have an opportunity to learn it at home unless grandma, grandfather, are speaking Cherokee and they're staying with them, which is one of the initiatives we have going on with the Child Care Center, Laurie Hand's group. We work with those child care workers, and we're working with them to have those individuals teach Cherokee to those students they're caring for. But that was another thing that we found out, that people realized that Cherokee couldn't be taught at home because it wasn't in the home anymore, and therefore they wanted early childhood programs, in the Head Start, well, not in Head Start, but in the Emergent centers, and for it to come up through elementary school and up higher and progress to adults. But Cherokee is a very complex language, as everybody's pointed out. In 20 hours, 40 hours, you don't get fluent speakers. You don't get more than limited vocabulary and some phrases, because children who are in immersion, that's 7 to 8 hours a day, do not say anything for 3 weeks. That's 120 hours. And we've compared Cherokee with some of the other languages, and adults who are in immersion settings with different languages, like with French and Spanish, and that it takes like a little over 700 hours, 730 hours in immersion settings, immersion 8 hours a day, to learn that language. And there's 4 groups like that. The second group takes 900 hours. The fourth, group 3, takes 1,200 hours. Group 4 takes 2,800 hours in immersion to learn the language at conversational level. And Cherokee is in Group 4. So when you talk about, and we realize that the 20 hours at these sites are not going to teach people, but we're exposing them to the language. They've never had an opportunity because it hasn't been in the home for a while, and maybe not in their home for a generation or two. But it exposes them to them to the language, and if we can get them interested in more, then we can develop. We have for our employee classes, those who've gone through an introductory class now have available a second class. Those who speak, we have reading and writing classes for them. So those are the kinds of things that we can do once the interest and everything is generated. And again, our resources are limited by those individuals that we can get to work with us too. Because all of us know a lot of speakers. Well, not a lot, but we know speakers. But they don't want to come to work with us on a 40-hour basis a week. And, the ones that can speak, remember, they're 50 plus. The majority, that was just a sampling, and you will find some anomalies there, in that you'll find some people who are mid-30s who can speak close to 40, but that's very rare. But it's becoming, with the Emergent Center, we have that group, but otherwise it's very rare.
May I make?
I'm sorry, Mr. Baker, and then I have Buell, and then I'll
I
okay?
just want to make one comment.
Okay.
I'd yield to him.
Okay.
On your
Oh, the only thing I was going to make a comment is, these syllables and stuff that that we have, of course, I do a little bit better. But anyway, in Cherokee language, if you really teach in Cherokee language, then we'll be speaking the same dialect, Like, for instance, horse, soquili. With me, in my area up there, soquil, meaning the same thing. But I don't see where I need to put soquili, And so, whenever I go reading, the syllables and stuff, it really throws my language and my understanding, and that's the reason why I cannot comprehend actually how, the true Cherokee language is spoken. And if it's true, my teaching of the true Cherokee language would be impossible for me, because I do not sound the word out as properly as it should sound. It's just like soquili, soquil. That means the same thing with me,
There are lots of that, and some of it's called community talk, formal talk. We do it in English, and so we just blend it, but when you write it out...
But they'll come back to you not talking good Cherokee.
Well, we've trained our staff not to say that.
Okay.
And you're right. The program at Northeastern, because we're doing the teacher training, is probably the thing that's going to standardize our language, and we're going to lose the community dialects, because every teacher will be trained coming out speaking the way those instructors, if they speak, whatever. I know that one of our instructors is from Lost City, and one's from Marble City, and they have those two dialects. So every teacher's going to come out with a blend of those two dialects, and we're going to standardize it and lose those community and family dialects that are out there now.
Okay, let's try to bring our discussion here to an end. But first I have Mr. Baker and I have Mr. Anglin, and then was there anyone else?
Yeah, not to be argumentative in any way, shape, form, or fashion. We've all taken an oath of office, and that oath, a major portion of it is to promote the heritage and culture of the Cherokee Nation. There's other things involved in it, and there's literally hundreds of programs that we all know are not going to get outside the 14 counties. They're federal dollars. They're earmarked for specific purposes. The federal burial program cannot bury a Cherokee outside the 14 counties. The roads program cannot go outside the 14 counties. We literally have the majority of our budget cannot cross those lines. And then we've got travel dollars that basically can do anything that we say it can do. And, the new Constitution says that we're going to have 2 at-large council people that are going to serve that constituency. And for us to even think that we're going to hamstring those people and say that no services can go to people outside the 14 until everybody within the 14 is fully served. And a misnomer is that the biggest population of Cherokees outside the 14 counties is in Tulsa, Oklahoma. That's the biggest population we have. Muskogee's probably the second. And why would it be so terrible to send a language teacher to North Tulsa or to Central Tulsa? They might serve as many Cherokees within the 14 county from that location as they would serve from in Cherokee County, simply because the interest might be stronger. And I just think we need to be real careful and let the representatives of the outlying districts decide where our precious resources go to best serve them from listening to their people, than for us to just make wide and categorical statements that they're not going to get it till my people get it in my county. And I just that kind of caught me funny, and I think we need to be very cognizant of what the needs are of the at-large council people and what their people are really wanting. We know they're not going to get the roads and they can't even get most of the health care. And but we just need to really think about it and remember our oaths of promoting the culture and heritage. And if that's what the people in Muskogee need, or the people in Tulsa want, then maybe that's where the dollars of that large can best be spent. But anyway, thank you.
Thank you. I have Mr. Anglin, and then I have Mr. Thornton.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Well, I need to chime in on this because of the list, but Dr. Sly has been great for my area, my district, and I guess I'm one of the fortunate councilmen that has seeked out and got speakers to teach the language class in our district. I have 4 teachers: Maggie Studi, Owen Scott, teaches in Tulsa, Betty Smith in Bartlesville, and Susie Galbraith in Ramona. These people have volunteered their time for the last 6 years for me, teaching the language up there, and Dr. Sly has been very supportive to get me all the literature they need, and I hand carry it to these classes for these teachers. So I don't think anybody is being left out, and if a council person is not going out and doing their job to promote the cultural and the language in their district, then they're failing to do their job, because these people are not getting paid, and they do it day after day after day. I mean, Maggie just finished up a class in Sperry. She's in Owassa doing one now. She's getting ready to move to Collinsville. So it's an ongoing deal. Owen Scott has taught it forever in Tulsa. There's speakers at large. People just need to go out and do their job and find these people to volunteer their time. And this lady right here would be very supportive of you. I mean, I'm always over picking up information for our district. So District 8 is well covered on the language. So I don't have to back up on any of that right there. So I just ask every council person just to do their job, what they're supposed to be doing, and promote it. That's all I have to say.
Okay, Mr. Thornton, and I have Mr. Martin, and that will be the end of our comments because we're getting close to the meeting time for the next committee.
I was just wondering about the Cherokees that are over around Van Buren and Fort Smith. Have you ever thought about taking a survey, maybe having someone over there?
Not outside the 14 county, not a survey. We've tried to put classes like at Moffett or somewhere close to the line, and usually Roland's as close as we get, and thinking that but I know that most people don't cross community boundaries. If they live in Fort Smith, they're not going to come over to Roland for a class, even though it's, maybe 10 to 12 miles. They just don't do that. They're kind of community bound. But no, we have not surveyed those individuals.
You know, I say that's out of state, but Cherokee Nation's territory used to go over into Arkansas. You know, I think we forgot those people over there.
It's kind of like those Cherokees who are west of the, Country Club Road in Muskogee, and those who are south of Admiral and Tulsa. They're outside of our district. We try to place classes close to them so that they'll cross over that, but I'm not sure that they do. I don't know those communities.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Martin?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just a comment about this Cherokee language program that we have, that the tribe has, and I'm very proud of what's been accomplished in a very short time that this program has existed. I think probably less than 7 years when the tribe really didn't have this type of program, and I agree with Mr. Baker and what our Constitution requires that we're responsible for. But any program that to be successful has to have a starting point, and I think basically that's where we are, and it's a tremendous challenge. I know this was greatly debated and argued. The other council, some felt like it was a waste of money to have the program. Some felt like it was a waste of time for people to try to resurrect language that's being lost, I guess you should say. And I look around in my district, and I see people that are fluent in the church, speaking the Cherokee language, dying off. And I think we lose one. I wonder how many we're training, teaching to speak the language, to replace those that we lose. And I know it's a tremendous challenge, and I'm proud to be one of the supporters of this program, and I'm fortunate, I guess, more fortunate, I guess, than some in one way, that the Cherokee language was my first language. I started in school and could not speak English. When I make jokes and laugh about this, and I learned how to read English before I understood what I was reading. If that makes sense, that's a period of time that I went through, but I'm not ashamed of that. That's just the way it was, and there's other groups or tribes or whatever that went through this type of thing, and it's been a success for them. And I think if we're patient, fund the program, get people to work this program, I believe we can revive our language. Thank you.
Thank you for your comment.
Okay, are there any other, let me say this, Mr. Garvin and Mrs. Connor are the only two that haven't spoken, so would you like to speak? And if not, then we'll end this discussion, and Dr. Sly, if there's anything else on your report?
No, thank you.
Appreciate your time and appreciate everyone's comments. We'll move on down to old business. We have the Cherokee Artists Association copyright issues and requests for proposals was tabled from last month. at Mr. Hember's request, and I guess Mr. Baker moved on his behalf. I don't see anything in front of us, so I'll entertain a motion to table that as well.
Second.
Okay, motion and second to table until next month. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, we'll discuss that next month. Item number 2, is there anyone that's going to speak about
I move to table.
move to table?
Quick comment. Jack and I were in a meeting. They are progressing on it. They're getting bids, and they have, we'll have more academic discussion later. They have discovered more Cherokee chiefs, and I guess we probably need to decide if we're going to do the ones that the president appointed, like for a day, to sign a contract or a treaty or whatever, and some of that, but looking at the clock, I'd say that we have time and there'll be more information.
Thank you. So we have a motion to table and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, we'll visit that next month. Under the new business, we have application for the cemetery restoration applications, excuse me.
Move to approve District 1 Cochran Cemetery. They used it last year, and they completed all the recording, and they're ready to continue.
Have a motion and a second to approve District 1 Cochran Cemetery. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Move to approve District 3.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to approve District 3, and I would like to make a comment about this. I apologize to Flute Springs Community Organization because I've been carrying this application since November. But they do have time. I have visited with them and let them know that it was my fault we didn't get on the agenda and get approved, and they do have time to get something together. So I have a motion and a second for approval. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Flute Springs is approved.
Madam Chair, make a motion to approve District 4 Hildebrand Cemetery in Braggs.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second for District 4 Hildebrand Cemetery. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? District 4 is approved. Okay, and that's all we have for this month. On the next item under new business, we have an act regarding Indian arts and crafts, and I believe, Kara, would you like to speak to that?
Yes, we've been doing the identity task force through like it's the front page of the Cherokee Phoenix, like I think in January, with the tribes and individuals who try to act like tribal citizens in the area of Cherokee, and all the folks that we've been fighting that maybe have issued tags or other things are pretty destructive. So we've been working with some of the folks with the Cherokee Arts Association, and one of the things we needed to do was the National or Federal Indian Arts and Crafts Act alone does not come with, it's not tailored to us, and it does not have punishment. So one of the things we talked about was adopting something similar to the Indian Arts and Crafts Act, but putting enforcement mechanisms in it. And the other two things that are included in this is one, creating a deadline for an inventory of our arts and crafts through the tribe and our entities, because a lot of people have called for that, but no action's been taken. But putting some force of deadline in, asking the administration to do so and take time to set aside our staff to actually inventory and provide the condition of our assets that we have, our arts and crafts assets. But then the other thing is in working with my JOM groups, a lot of them are frustrated because they'll try to hire folks and they maybe don't know who to hire, or if they do go to hire, they've gotten caught in where they've used Cherokee Nation money for folks who aren't Cherokee but claim to be, or are peddling stuff that's questionable. And so this allows for the tarot office to then certify Indian artists and such and performing arts folks, in order for then they could go online to that list through tarot to at least show that they have a real federally recognized tribal citizen that they're using tribal monies to bring in. And so That's it. We've really struggled with it, so I'm looking for amendments because I think that there is work still to be done on the act, but we're not sure where else to take it. So I was hoping that this body would embrace it and make it something from the council to take forward because we really need to protect this area, I think. Thank you, Madam Chair.
I have Mr. Bill John Baker and then Mr. King.
I guess my question is, under the individuals violating the act shall be guilty of a crime and punishment of imprisonment up to 6 months in jail and/or fine of $5,000. The only ones that could be guilty would be non-citizens, right?
Yeah, and that Todd and I have been trying to look through this, so I don't know how we would do it.
And I'm just saying, we don't have jurisdiction over non-citizens, and yet we're going to make it imprison, and which we can't imprison non-citizens. And we can't really even find them or enforce it unless this is meant to punish the gift shop person that makes a mistake. Is that?
No, it's not meant to punish them. Our attorney could not be here, and he's the one that recommended it in that way. So, and I've had Law and Justice look at it too, so.
Yeah, and I'm not a lawyer.
But I am working with the U.S. Attorney's Office on some stuff, so I don't know if we can, we need to do federal laws. But we've got to figure out some way to enforce this, and I don't know how to do that.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I've been around and aware of this federal act since they started writing. I was fortunate to be a clerk at the Native American Rights Fund when I was in college, and a lot of the discussions about this, the Indian Arts and Crafts Act, and it's been always been a troublesome issue. The actual formation of this act came from an interesting lobby point. It came from something that Councilman Baker was alluding to, and that was the people who sell Indian art in these trading posts out in the Southwest, and they were the strongest advocates for this. And it allowed them to prosper more because that's what they traded in. It's a very difficult issue, I think, and to try to control identity and culture. And just an example, I always try to bring this up, but there are people who are true Cherokees that don't have a card to prove it. Joan Hill is one. I've looked at all of her information. As much as I can tell, she's a bona fide Cherokee and didn't make it onto the roll somehow. Another one that we hold up in reverence here is Willard Stone. I know his family, and I want to promote Cherokee stuff. I don't like it when there's stuff made in China and they try to purport it to be Cherokee, and I just don't know there's anything we can do about it. But the last thing I want to do is imprison somebody from the Willard Stone family or Joan Hill for trying to promote culture and the art, and that goes against what I see as our constitutional oath to promote it. And I'm surprised that Todd would put anything in there that resembles sort of a criminal punishment. I think we got a lot of work to do on this, but I can't support something that would put a Cherokee person in jail, really. Thank you.
Mr. Garvin?
Madam Chair, I think this needs a lot of work, and I make a motion with a table.
I have a motion to table and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We'll table till next month. Coming down to the announcements. Our next meeting, we have a request to change the meeting date from the employment chair of the committee to Thursday, March the 15th, so that employees or council members can attend the legislative day activities at the state capitol in Oklahoma City.
I'll make a motion to be changed.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to change the date to Thursday, March the 15th. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, then our next meeting date will be March the 15th, Thursday at 9 a.m. Do you have any announcements?
Move to adjourn.
A motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Adjourned.